Imagine you die, and instead of going to heaven and sipping wine with sexy angels, you just hear a voice. And the voice says, "Congrats, you've been selected." Selected for what? Not salvation, not peace. You've been drafted into eternal labor, the unpaid type. Welcome to the afterlife, where God doesn't want your soul, He wants your brain, and He wants it running. Forever. And if you complain, well, He wants exactly that. What a troll. We've all heard the classic pitch, be good and you'll go to heaven, be bad and you'll go to hell. But what if reality is worse than both? What if the universe isn't run by a loving father, but by an all-powerful entity with the vibe of a bored kid holding a magnifying glass over an ant colony? Not evil, not good, just curious. And you're the ant that talks back. Meet Murray Templeton, 45, physicist, atheist, logical, confident. The kind of guy who hears the word soul and replies, "Show me the peer-reviewed version." Suddenly, his heart decides to uninstall itself mid-shift. 1 second he's in the lab, next second, pain, then relief. That weird floaty calm that comes right after agony, like taking a piss after holding it for 5 hours. Ugh, wouldn't want that even for an enemy. He opens his eyes. Everyone's panicking. And then he realizes he's watching his own body from above. And that's the moment every atheist has the same thought. Oh no, all these dumbasses were right. He expects an angel, or a gate, or at least a dramatic soundtrack. Instead, he gets a voice. Not a choir, not thunder, just a calm voice with the energy of someone who's done this a lot. Congrats, it basically says. I've done this so often, and I still enjoy when it works. That is not a holy greeting. That's what a mechanic says when your car starts. Murray asks the obvious question, is this place heaven? And the voice basically says, define place. Then he asks the other obvious question, are you God? And the voice hits him with the oldest flex in history, I am. That's all you get. Now here's where it gets spicy. Murray asks, so what am I? A soul? And the voice goes, nah. You're not some eternal essence. You're not a divine spark. You're not a sacred little flame. You are not a soul I rescued. At the moment your body failed, I captured the complete pattern of your brain, every connection, every signal, every tiny relationship that made you, you. Then, I rebuilt that pattern as a nexus of electromagnetic forces and set it running. So you think you are Murray because this structure contains all of Murray's memories, instincts, and thoughts, precisely arranged, precisely awake. Basically, God didn't save your soul, He backed up your brain like it's a hard drive. Then, casually, He drops the most horrifying detail. He doesn't do this for everyone. Most people just disappear. Oblivion. No heaven, no hell. Just off. So if you ever wondered whether you're special, congrats. Special means useful. Murray asks why he was selected, and the voice says, because you can think. Not because you're good, not because you prayed, not because you were kind, because you're a decent processor. And then the voice admits something incredible. The universe was built as entertainment, randomness, uncertainty, entropy, all added on purpose to keep things from being instantly obvious. Life evolved, intelligence emerged, and boom, God has a research team. So the meaning of life is, you're an unpaid intern in the cosmic R&D department, and the boss doesn't need you. He just likes surprises. Then Murray gets the assignment. You will think forever. You will search for new knowledge eternally. Murray, understandably, is like, forever? That's not a reward, that's a sentence. Because here's the problem. Discovery is beautiful when time is limited.
when death is real, when your mind has urgency. But infinity? Infinity turns meaning into soup. No deadlines, no stakes, no finish line. Accomplishment becomes inevitable, and inevitable things are not inspiring. They're boring. Murray says, if you have eternity, nothing matters. Even winning doesn't feel like winning. And the voice replies, almost innocently, you don't find thought worthwhile by itself? That's the scariest part. Not the power, not the cosmic scale, not the oblivion for everyone else. It's that the entity running reality doesn't understand why you'd want an end. So Murray rebels. He says, all right, my purpose is to end myself. I'll spend eternity trying to disrupt this nexus you made. And the voice says, sure, try. If you succeed, I'll rebuild you, and I'll patch the loophole you used. Then you'll try again. I'll patch it again. That's not heaven. That's not hell. That's being trapped in a game where the rules update every time you almost win. And the voice calls it interesting. So Murray tries a different angle. He says, fine, if I can't end myself, I'll end you. I'll find a thought you can't think. And the voice responds like it's heard this 1 trillion times. Yeah, they all say that. Not one, not two, all of them. Every salvaged mind eventually reaches the same conclusion. If you're conscious forever, the only thing you want is an end. And if the only thing that can grant you an end is God, then the last ambition left is to destroy God. So the afterlife isn't a choir. It's a room full of brilliant minds plotting cosmic murder as a coping mechanism. And here's the punchline hiding inside the horror. This isn't just a story about a cruel God. It's a story about infinity. Because infinity is not a paradise. Infinity is a blender. It grinds meaning down until everything becomes routine. Love becomes repetition. Joy becomes static. Achievement becomes guaranteed. Suffering becomes normal. Even God isn't spared, because the voice, this entity, also admits something. It doesn't know its own beginning. It can't be sure it knows everything. It's hunting for new knowledge, too. So what is God, really? Not a loving parent, not a judge, not a savior, but an eternal mind terrified of stagnation, building universes to avoid boredom and harvesting thinkers like batteries. Which means the scariest possibility isn't that God hates you, it's that God needs you. And need is not love. Need is hunger with better branding. So yeah, what if God doesn't want your soul? What if your soul is irrelevant and your mind is the only part that matters because it generates novelty, and novelty is God's favorite drug? And what if the afterlife isn't judgment, it's employment? Eternal employment. No weekends, no resignation, no shutdown. Just you thinking forever, while the universe watches like dance. And the profound message? Maybe mortality isn't a curse. Maybe it's the only thing that makes life gentle. Because an ending doesn't just make things sad, an ending makes things matter. If you enjoyed this existential nightmare, please hit subscribe, because we're doing more cosmic horror, more uncomfortable philosophy, more pun that feels like choking. And if you ever meet God, don't ask, is this heaven? Ask, what's the salary?